selected a new committee or not.
He's not going anywhere.
Except maybe Florida.
We're going to have to take a vote on that, Alex.
Are we? Okay.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we are now live streaming on YouTube.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the. I'll start again. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Committee of Adjustment for the City of Richmond Hill. I would ask that we start this evening's meeting with the reading of the preamble, please.
Today's Committee of Adjustment meeting is hereby held as an electronic meeting. The Committee of Adjustment for the City of Richmond Hill has been appointed by Council to consider applications for minor variance and consent in accordance with the Planning Act. No one other than the applicant, the municipality, certain public bodies, and the minister will be allowed to appeal municipal decisions to the tribunal within 20 days of the making of a decision. All appeals and associated fees must be filed directly with the Secretary Treasurer in accordance with the Planning Act. Written comments. The public may submit written correspondence regarding agenda matters by email to committeeofadjustment@richmondhill.ca. All written correspondence received by 4:30 p.m. today has been provided to the committee members electronically. Electronic delegations. Delegates are reminded to please mute your microphone or phone and turn off your video until it is your turn to speak. Please make sure your microphone is not muted when you begin speaking. If members do not have questions or after all questions have been asked, your delegation is over. Please sign off of Zoom or hang up the phone once the committee has made a decision. You can watch the rest of our meeting on our live stream, and the clerk may remove any delegate who does not sign off of Zoom.
Thank you. Our Secretary Treasurer is Mrs. Jamie Hope-Herman, and our Assistant Secretary Treasurer is Ms. Linda Asikas. And assisting us this evening from our Planning Department is Ms. Sarah Moder. Do we have any conflicts of interest this evening, gentlemen? I see none. And do we have any requests for adjournment or withdrawal?
Okay, Mr. Chair, we have none.
In that case, we'll move on to our first application, which is application A067/22 at 158 Ruggles Avenue. Do we have any additional correspondence on this application?
No.
Through Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. And our applicant.
Yes, it's me, Angelica Chudubaya.
Go ahead.
What I have to say, it's everything in my application. I would like to build new house, 2 floors. I looking for relief from provision by law 6671 is amended to permit reduce minimum side yard setback north from 211 meters to 154 and reduce minimum side setback south from 2.11 meters to 1.25, increase maximum gross floor area from 232.25 square meter to 374.44 square meter, increase maximum load coverage from 30% to 33.75, increase height from 8.5 meters to 906 meters. To accompany the construction, what I propose to build two floor dwelling.
Thank you. Does anyone in the audience wish to address this application at 158 Ruggles Avenue?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
And any further comments from our planning department?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no further comments.
Gentlemen, comments, questions, concerns? In that case, I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Gossi.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve item A in today's agenda, minor variance application A067/22 at 158 Ruggles Avenue, subject to terms and conditions in the staff report.
Moved by member Grassi, seconded by member Master. All in favor?
So,
I see 4 hands. It's approved. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
can I leave?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank
Good night.
you. Our next application is actually 3 applications. B029/22 and A074/22 and A075/22 at 114 Center Street West. Do we have any further correspondence on this application?
Mr. Chair, we do not.
And our applicant?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of committee. You can hear me fine?
We can hear you fine, sir.
Thank you. My name is David Frateroli, and we are the owners of the property known as 114 Center Street West. We are here today with the consent application B29 and minor variance applications A74 and A75. We have reviewed the staff reports and agree with their recommendations. Mr. Chair, we are here seeking to sever a parcel of land for residential purposes, approximately 15.24 meters by 88.17 meters, approximately 1,343 square meters, and retain a parcel of land approximately 18.29 meters by 88.11 meters, and approximately 1,611 square meters. The lands are located on the south side of Center Street West, west of Yonge Street, north of Major Mackenzie Drive West. These lands are presently have a total frontage of approximately 33.53 meters and a total lot area of approximately 2,954 square meters. The land presently has a 1-story single detached bungalow, which is proposed to be demolished to support the proposed development. The lands are surrounded by low-density residential developments with mostly 1- and 2-story single detached dwellings. The property is located within a site plan controlled area and are located within the city's village core. The property is subject to 2 active site plan applications for the construction of 2 proposed single detached dwellings. We have been working with the city staff for the last couple of years and thank them for their input and guidance. And we have also provided studies and reports for the development. Mr. Chair, included in those reports were a complete tree inventory and arborist report for the entire property. Within that arborist report, study was done on the arborist report study was done on the condition of all the trees on or around the property. We are proposing to remove a total of 14 trees because of the proposed development and 3 that have been determined as hazard or dead. The agreed tree compensation is a total of 14 new trees, 6 white spruce, 2 red maples, 1 sugar maple, 3 red oaks, and 2 hackberry trees. Mr. Chair, we have also provided a very robust and detailed landscape plan included in that site plan application that will further enhance the streetscape of the development and definitely benefit the neighborhood. We have also produced reports relating to the grading for the development to ensure that the development will not have any adverse effect on any of the surrounding properties. Mr. Chair, we have a few minor variances that we're requesting, some of which are caused by the increased setback of a neighboring home and others through design considerations to best represent a current style of construction that's pleasing to both the eye while respecting the neighboring property owners. Mr. Chair, we have requested a side yard setback variance of 0.28 meters on both the east and west side of both of the lots, both of the east and west lots on the first story, and they are representative of a newer constructed homes found throughout the city. And we have also requested a side yard setback variance of 2.78 meters for both the east and west sides of both lots for the second story. And this was a design consideration to accommodate the desired look and feel. As a result of these variances were determined as necessary. Mr. Chair, we're also requesting an increase in the GFA allowance of 141 square meter, 1.77 square meters and 214.37 square meters respectively. This increase in the GFA was for design considerations, building trends found throughout the city, and a family's need for a slightly larger home. Mr. Chair, the garage width variance requested is for an additional 0.71 meters in width to accommodate the two-car garage. The village core guidelines actually dictate that a two-car garage is only allowed on 60-foot plus lots. However, it seems that the bylaw did not, or the guidelines did not make for allowance of the actual construction of those two-car garages. And as such, we were unable to create a two-door, two-car garage any less than 7.21 meters, which is what we're proposing. Mr. Chair, the decreased front yard setbacks are caused by the fact that the home adjacent to us was set back from the road to respect a very historical drainage ditch and swale that traversed the property when Center Street had ditches and not sewers. This drainage ditch is no longer in use and is no longer needed and has been confirmed as such by the TRCA after a site visit from them very early in our development process. And therefore, we have designed the homes so that they respect the consistent front yard setback of the homes to the west, and follow the front yard setback as laid out by the bylaw. But because the difference in setbacks as they exist now, an established building line is the measurement used for the calculation of the front yard setbacks. The design we are proposing is respectful of the existing bylaw and is more pleasing to the streetscape and should be allowed. Mr. Chair, and in respect to the garage projection, we have worked extremely hard with urban design to come up with something that was both advantageous to our design and yet respectful to the intent of the bylaw. And by turning the garage, as many of the homes on Center Street have done to the west of us, we have gained valuable space in the garage and have been very careful so not to allow the garage to be the focal point of the home, which was the intent of the Village Core design guidelines. The gable roof, the generous garage window, and the substantial landscape plan take away from the impact of the garage and make it very pleasing to the streetscape. So in conclusion, Mr. Chair, it's in our opinion that when one evaluates the impacts of a minor variance request, the issues must be considered under the idea of being able to accommodate the request in a harmonious and respectful manner. In our opinion, Mr. Chair, the application in front of you has been able to do just that. And as the city staff has determined, the application meets the 4 tests of the Planning Act, and the application before you merits your committee's approval. And I'm glad to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Does anyone in the audience wish to address these applications at 114 Center Street West?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
And any further comments from our planning department?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no further comments.
Gentlemen, comments, questions, concerns? Mr. Duretzi.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, my only comment to David is that the minimum side yard deficiency being requested in your minor variance, I do believe, according to my staff report, it says 1.78 meters. I believe you said 2.78 meters. You could check your notes, but I just wanted to confirm that it's 1.78 meters. That's my only comment.
That's on the second floor. Is that correct, Carla?
Yes, sir. According to the staff report, the deficiency noted is 1.78 meters. And I think you mentioned 2.78, just a minor.
My mistake on the typo on my report. Thank you.
Any further comments? I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Master.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I move that 3 applications, all located at 158 Ruggles Avenue, application number B029/22, application number A074/22, and application number A075/22 be approved with conditions contained therein.
The only comment I would make, Mr. Master, is the address you gave us.
There's 114 Center Street West.
Correct, 114 Center Street West. Yes, I heard you say Ruggles.
Oh, yes. Sorry about that. Yes.
So 114 Center Street West, moved by Member Master, seconded by Member Duretzi. All in favor? I see 4 hands. It's approved. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, members of the committee. Have yourself a Merry Christmas.
And you too. Our next applications We just did B, C, and D. Would be applications B030/22, A069/22, and A083/22 at 111 Naughton Drive. Do we have any additional correspondence on these applications?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we do not. However, my apologies if you have, it should just be consent application B030-22. The minor variances have been, they will be coming back at a future date.
Okay, my apologies. I see them listed here on my report. All right, I'll cross that off.
No, no problem.
And we're dealing with B030/22 at 111 Naughton Drive. Our applicant, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is John Colangelo. I'm the agent for the owners Thomas Tassu and Nicholas Tassu. We came before you. We have a consent application B030/22, and we are asking for a consent to subdivide the lot in half, straight down the middle. And it is keeping in line with all the rest of the lots on the street. It was just a simple severance.
Thank you. Does anyone in the audience wish to address this application at 111 Naughton Drive?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, we have the homeowner from 109 Naughton.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you, yes.
Sorry, I don't know, for some reason the camera doesn't work well. I just speak. Good evening, everyone. My name is Richard Yu. I live in 109 Norton Drive, the next door neighbor to 111 Norton Drive. So first of all, I do not against the idea to sever this land, but I have two questions I want to ask here regarding the new construction. The first question is the new setback of the side yard close to my house. It's about 3 months ago, Mr. Tassel talked to me. He asked my opinion if he will have 4 feet setback instead of 5 feet. With all due respect, Mr. Tassel, I told him I do not think it's a good idea and I have some concerns. I haven't talked to him since then, so I'd like to ask what's the plan now? If any other variants, I would like to know. So my second question and the next last question is, as a next door neighbor, can I get a copy of the new site plan for the new construction? Thank you very much.
Okay, first, addressing your first concern about variances, we're not dealing with any variances this evening, sir. We're only dealing with the lot severance. We do not have any application in front of us for variances, so we haven't seen any. As for your second question, that's something I'm sure that would probably come out in a report that is that's available when we do get to variances, or it may be something that you can get from Mr. Tasso himself.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Sorry, I didn't know the whole process because Mr. Tassel talked to me last time, so I just wanted to follow up, and I didn't have a chance to talk to him in the recent like 2 or 3 months. So I thought this would be the manual for me to ask a question. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
No problem. My pleasure, sir. Yes, sir.
As the agent for the owner, I will be going with the owners to speak to Richard with a copy of the plans so that he sees exactly what we are doing on site, and we will address any of his concerns.
Thank you very much. Very good.
Also, I'd just like to add, I'm sorry for interrupting, if it's okay. Good evening, everyone. So my name is Thomas Tassel, I'm the applicant. We've owned the property now for approximately 1.5 years. The intent is for me and my brother to build 2 family residences there. We have tried to develop a relationship already with all of the existing neighbors and be as open as possible. As we go through any other further processes, we'll do consultation with the neighbors to try and respect the community wishes.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Does anyone else in the audience wish to address this application at 111 Naughton Drive?
That's you, Mr. Chair. We have none.
And any further comments from our planning department?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no further comments.
Thank you. Gentlemen, comments, questions, concerns? In that case, I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Duretzi.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I would move that consent application B030/22 located at 111 Naughton Drive be approved, subject to the terms and conditions in the city's staff report.
Moved by member Duretzi, seconded by member Gossi. All in favor? I see 4 hands. It's approved. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you to the committee members, and I've had a lot of exchange with Ms. Hope. Jamie, I want to say thank you very much for all your patience. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Our next application is application A082/22 at 257 Altamira Road. Do we have any additional correspondence on this application?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
And our applicant.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Cameron O'Neill. I'm the agent working on behalf of the owners, Dave and Rose Kostich. Generally speaking, we're looking to provide a single-story or a single detached dwelling. The variances which we're looking to seek are for GFA, an increased height variance for the main house, as well as an increased height variance for both the cabana in the rear yard, as well as the shed in the rear yard. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that the committee has.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone in the audience wish to address this application at 257 Altamira Road?
Through Mr. Chair, we have none.
And any further comments from planning?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no further comments.
Thank you. Gentlemen, comments, questions, concerns? I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Master.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I move that application number A082/22 located at 257 Altamira Road be approved with all the conditions contained therein.
Moved by member Master, seconded by member Gossi. All in favor? I see 4 hands. It's approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the night.
Good evening, sir.
Take care.
Our next application is application A070/22 at 414 Elmwood Avenue. Do we have any additional correspondence on this application?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. And our applicant. Our applicant for 414 Elmwood Avenue.
Hi,
Hi,
how are you?
go ahead and present your case, sir.
Okay, it was a follow-up application for the height required by my new house. Because after the previous minor variance application, and then we do the site plan, and then we find that the sewage level is much higher than what we expected, and so we have to raise the height of the dwelling. So this is for 0.8 something meter over the limitation. So this is the only thing we request for this minor variance.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Does anyone in the audience wish to address this application at 414 Elmwood Avenue?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have none.
And any further comments from our planning department?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no further comments.
Gentlemen, comments, questions, concerns?
No.
I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Duretzi.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I would move that minor variance application A070/22 at 414 Elmwood Avenue be approved, subject to the terms and conditions in the city's staff report.
Moved by
Thank
member Duretzi, seconded by member Master. All in favor? I see 4 hands. It's approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Our next application is application A045/22 at 405 Taylor Mills Drive North. Do we have any additional correspondence on this application?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, we received a letter of objection from 406 Allgood Street. Their main concern had to do with flooding into their backyard and their basement, and that was received on December 5th.
Thank you. And our applicant.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, it's Joe Battaglia, the architect. Good evening, everybody. I have read the staff report, and we're asking for variances in side yards and coverage. I agree, or I agree and have nothing to add to the planning recommendations. I believe that this is a minor, that variance is minor in nature and meets the 4 tests of the Planning Act. And I asked the committee to approve the variance requested.
Thank you. Does anyone in the audience wish to address this application at 405 Taylor Mills Drive North?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Any further comments from our planning department? Sorry, my voice is going.
Through you, Mr. Chair, no further comments.
Mr. Duretzi, I'm wondering if you would do me a favor and reassure the person that wrote the letter about the requirement for this new development to make sure that all the drainage is taken care of on their property and that they're not going to drain anywhere else.
Sure, through you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to just point out that the letter of objection noted that the drainage was never an issue until the garage and shed on the subject property was built back in 2009 and 10. And I note on the current application that there is a note that the existing garage or shed in the back is to be removed. So if that was in fact the cause and it's being removed, then hopefully the issue should disappear. But I did take point of just having a closer look at some of the topography there, just to kind of identify sort of the drainage pattern. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's sort of a split drainage pattern on the side yards where half the water is going to the road and then the other half of the water is going to the back of the property. And the complaint was up in this corner over here. Okay, so as you know, that the engineering department will have an extensive review of this and will ensure that all the drainage from the subject property is contained in drainage swales. And typically the rooftop drainage is picked up in an infiltration gallery in the back. I would, however, suggest that the neighbor at 406 who filed the complaint maybe communicate with the engineering staff of his concerns so that staff will have a closer look at this backyard when it does get graded and approved for construction. Those are my comments.
Thank you, sir. Any further comments? Yes, Mr. Master.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I absolutely agree with Mr. Duretzi, and removal of the garage will actually remove a huge part of a hard surface which sheds into the backyard. So I'm actually, as an architect, quite convinced as well that it'll improve the condition rather than make it worse from what it is today.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say. Yeah, thank you.
Any further comments, questions, concerns? I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Gossi.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve item H in today's agenda, minor variance application A045/22 at 405 Taylor Mills Drive, subject to terms and conditions in the staff report.
Moved by member Gossi, seconded by member Duretzi. All in favor? Four hands. It's approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, who's talking in the background there? Is there some way we can control that?
Sorry.
Our next application is application A037/22 at 127 Harding Boulevard. Do we have any additional correspondence on this application?
To you, Mr. Chair, we do not.
And our applicant. The applicant for 127 Harding Boulevard. Your microphone is muted, sir.
Hello, yes.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Bijan Jamali. I am the agent and designer of the subject property at 127 Harding Avenue, Boulevard. I have the staff report, which is supportive of my proposal, and there is no objection. And if you have any further question, I would be more than happy to answer your question.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone in the audience wish to address this application at 127 Harding Boulevard?
Yes.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the homeowner from 277 Lenox Avenue.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. My name is Laura Liberlato, and I am one of the owners at 277 Lenox Avenue, which is at the corner of Lenox and Harding. I've been here to this Committee of Adjustment several times with several similar reasons. I don't understand, first of all, how you can call this a minor variance when the proposed build is 5,000 square feet. That's nothing further than the truth. I've been a resident here, and I'm sorry if it sounds like it's a long-winded comment, but I need to say this. I've been a 30-year resident here, and a 5,000 square foot home just is not a home, it's a house. And we've seen a lot of changes to this area, notwithstanding, there is a real lack of community. I don't know what's going to happen when this house is built and who is actually going to live in it, but I can tell you that the houses on Harding, for the most part, are not family homes. There are multiple people that live in the homes. And I would fair to guess that who is building this home and who will live in this home will not be here for the long term. It will be the short term, and there will be a house that will be yet again empty for months at a time. Trees will be removed. Trees will not be put back into place. They will be cedar bushes like what I have seen time and time again, never a tree. What else do I have to say? The fact that we're talking about affordable housing. Well, this is certainly not affordable housing in this community. The fact that this is precedent setting in terms of even height, going beyond it. I just simply don't understand. It seems to me that in this community where I live, bigger seems to be better and seems to be best. And again, I'm not, I'm getting emotional because I'm actually just very disappointed. I'm very disappointed at how just the manner in which things are just happening, that it's just the way it's supposed to be. And it's, you know, I have, you know, there's so much more that I can say, but I'm not going to say anything anymore. There is no streetscape per se. 5,000 square feet. I don't understand who needs to live in that.
Why don't we build 10,000 square feet?
And then when is it going to be 10,000 square feet? And then when is it going to get higher and higher? That's all I have to say. So I know what's going to happen. It's going to pass, as all of them have passed in the past. And promises about trees and everything else, and making sure that it is the way it's supposed to be in the community will never happen. So again, I just wanted to share that with you as a long time resident, 30 years. I came here as a young woman, and now I'm an older woman, and I find myself thinking, I think I'm going to perhaps just have to leave. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much for your comments. We appreciate that. Is anyone
Sure
else?
you do.
We do. We do.
Okay.
Does anyone else in the audience wish to address this application at 127 Harding Boulevard?
Through Mr. Chair, we have none.
And any further
Because-
comment? Any further
Yeah.
comments from our planning department?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no further comments.
Gentlemen, comments, questions, concerns? Mr. Gossi.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask a question. Does anybody know specifically, Mrs. Lebralato raised a good point regarding the tree replacement. Does the tree bylaw specify that you need to replace the trees in kind, or like similar like kind trees, or is it just any tree? I'm actually not familiar with the particulars of that bylaw. So for example, if you take down, you know, a large maple tree, are you required to plant a maple tree, or indeed could you put in, you know, a boxwood bush? I mean, I'm stretching the example here a little bit, but could you put in, you know, something that is of less size, less, you know, diameter, less just girth in general? Can anybody answer that? Planning or Jamie, perhaps?
Ms. Mauder, can you answer that question for us?
Through you, Mr. Chair, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to provide a definitive answer for this. What I can say is that there is a tree permitting bylaw, and then it would be reviewed through that process if a tree were to be removed and then replanted on the property.
Sir, I see your hand, but I'm going to ask for our secretary treasurer if there's if she can comment on the existing tree bylaw for us.
Through Mr. Chair, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to provide any additional information tonight on the tree bylaw.
Thank you. And yes, sir, our applicant. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, there is a staff, there is a arborist report, and according to arborist report, for any tree we are cutting, we will replace them with certain size of tree and type, and even the tree is specified what type it would be. So they are not bushes, or it's not according to us to decide whatever we want. It's according to the arborist report, and we have to follow that.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Any further? Yes, Mr. Gossi.
Sorry, again, through you, Mr. Chair, just in response to Mr. Jamali. I'm not sure, maybe somebody else on the committee can answer this, but I'm not sure if the details of the replacement in the arborist report is binding, given that once those trees are eliminated, is there any sort of verification process that somebody's going to come back and actually take an inventory of the trees that are on the lot and then cross-reference them with what was on the arborist report? I'm not familiar with that process taking place.
it seems to me that maybe a review of the bylaw would be a good idea. But for our benefit and for our purposes, we are dealing with a recommendation that has come from them, and they've reviewed this and they've been happy with it. So I would suggest maybe some reading for further information.
Yeah.
Any further comments, questions, concerns, gentlemen? Mr. Gudaretsi.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, just some comments. Thank you, Laura, for your comments. It is appreciated. And if I might be able to, excuse me, shed a little bit of light on why this may be considered a minor variance. Even if we were to take off 1,000 square feet or 1,500 square feet on the dwelling, the streetscape or the look of the house from the street would not change. So the bulk of the house, being a deep lot, it's 44 meters, about 147 feet deep. So the bulk of the gross floor area is in the rear of the property. So you don't really see it from the street, whether it's a 2,500 square foot home or a 5,000 square foot home. In addition to that, I just wanted to comment that the proposed building, the rear foundation wall, if you will, is actually not as far back as the existing foundation wall at number 133, with the exception of the sunken patio that's being proposed in the rear yard. It's pretty much, oh yeah, and with respect to the height, I can tell you that by today's standards, we often see in some of the new zoning bylaws that are in town, building height for this type of a structure can get up to about 35 feet, and they're proposing 31 feet. So I just wanted to shed a little bit of light on what it is that the committee members are used to seeing on a lot of these staff reports that come through, and just try to help you understand why staff is considering this to be minor. So those are my comments. I hope it helps. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Master.
Through you, Mr. Chair. I believe Laura's concern was also demographic in terms of population of the house. And I think we really cannot control that in terms of the family that would live there. The only thing that comes to mind is, using of these homes as one of those rental things. I don't know what they call them, the bed and breakfast, but there are legislations, and I'm sure that can be reported and prevented. It's meant to be a home that is to be used by a family, not a rental property. So I just don't think we can go there too far. I agree with Mr. Duretsi regarding the aesthetic reasons. I don't think they are that severe. They are minor. My last comment is about the trees. I have had personal experience with tree replacement. Unfortunately, what happens, Laura, is that if you cut down a big tree, you can never replace it with a big tree. It just doesn't happen. What they do require sometimes is that in place of one tree, you put in two trees, two small trees. And sometimes they die after 2 years when all the inspections expire. And I really sympathize with you on that. I just have no idea how to deal with that. Okay, just letting you know. I live in a similar neighborhood as you. Take care. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Any further comments, gentlemen? I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Duretsi.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I would move that minor variance application A037/22 at 127 Harding Boulevard be approved, subject to the terms and conditions in the city's staff report.
Moved by member Duretsi, seconded by member Master. All in favor? I see 4 hands. It's approved. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.
Our next application is application A049/22 at 277 Carrybrook Drive. Do we have any additional correspondence on this application?
To you, Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. And our applicant.
There you go. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the committee and the staff. My name is Elena Arson. I'm here on behalf of my spouse, the applicant, Stephen Carinci. And we are seeking relief from the bylaw 66-71. And in support of that request, we are proposing a couple of variances, particularly increase lot coverage from 30% to 33.8%, and reduced side yard setback from 244 meters to 1.83 meters on both north and south side. We worked very hard with the staff to remove 4 other variances that were originally on the application. And I want to thank the staff for helping us through the entire process. We had a chance to review the staff report and have no questions or concerns. We do believe that the variances are minor in nature, and we're looking for an approval.
Thank you. Does anyone in the audience wish to address this application at 277 Cary Brook Drive?
To you, Mr. Chair, we have none.
And any further comments from our planning department?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no further comments.
And gentlemen, comments, questions, concerns? Mr. Master.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I only have one variance listed on my version of the report, which has to do with the side yard setback, north and south. Am I missing something, or do you guys have something different?
Well, my report does indicate 2 variances, one for maximum lot coverage, increase from 30 to 33.8%, and the other one is the side yard setbacks, north and south.
Okay, so that's fine. I'm aware of it now. Thank you.
Carlo and Dean, have you got, which report have you got? 1 or 2?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yeah, I would agree with you. There's 2 minor variances, one for maximum lot coverage as well.
Okay, very good.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I agree. Yes.
So we're dealing with 2 variances.
Thank you.
And I will ask for a motion. Mr. Cossey.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to raise a motion to approve item J in today's agenda, minor variance application A049/22 at 277 Cary Brook Drive, subject to terms and conditions in the staff report.
Moved by member Cossey, seconded by member Master. All in favor? I see 4 hands. It's approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and enjoy your holidays.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hello. Next application is application A048/22 at 42 Fergus Avenue. Do we have any additional correspondence on this application?
To you, Mr. Chair, we do not.
And our applicant. We are looking for the applicant for 42 Fergus Avenue.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Chairman and member of committee. Me and my wife, we are the owner of 42 Fergus Avenue. We will request for minor variances. What we are planning to do is to build an addition on the existing bungalow house and a small addition at the back. The second floor addition on the existing going to be on the as is setbacks, and the rear addition we're going to consider all the bylaw zonings as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Does anyone in the audience wish to address this application at 42 Fergus Avenue?
Here, Mr. Chair, we have none.
And any further comments from our planning department?
Mr. Chair, no further comments.
I have to admit that I am a little concerned about the proposed north side yard. Do I understand that to be an existing condition?
Yes, and one side on the northwest corner, actually, we were really close to the neighbor. So as you see, we went back about 1.55 meter and try to not have any, what are you calling it, encroachment in the neighbor's property.
Okay.
So what you see is technically is all the existing foundation and building.
Thank you. Gentlemen, comments, questions? Oh, sorry, did I get, I did get comments from our planning department, did I not? Thank you. Gentlemen, comments, questions, concerns? Mr. Duretzi.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate my understanding is that they're just putting on a second story to an existing foundation, and all of these variances are recognizing existing conditions. That's how I understood this staff report before me.
That's what I understood too. I just wanted to be sure. Thank you.
Correct.
Mr. Master.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to see, ask the owner, it seems that you're building exactly on top of the existing foundations, but you seem to say that your second story will not be as close as 1 feet or whatever, 0.36 feet. That's like 4 inches or thereabouts.
Correct.
Property
It's
line.
about, sorry?
Go ahead.
No, yes, it's correct. So we are building our second floor on the existing walls, or like we have to, like according to my engineer or architecture, we have to make it better. But yes, it's to stay where they are. And on the addition at the back, we are considering all the setbacks and all zoning by law.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Grassi.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, this is an unusual condition. For me, it's the first time I've run into something like this. The roof hang actually, you know, encroaches over the property line. So I've never seen anything like that before. I understand it's an existing condition, but it's interesting. I'm not sure how we handle that.
May I answer?
Go ahead, sir.
With the new roof, we're going with a flat roof, so we are not going with the traditional, and we are eliminating that equipment in the neighbor's property.
Oh.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments, questions, concerns? I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Master.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I move that application number 8048/22, located at 42 Fergus Avenue, be approved with all the conditions contained therein.
Moved by member Master, seconded by member Duretzi. All in favor? I see 4 hands. Thank you very much. It's approved.
Thanks a lot. We really appreciate that.
Good evening, folks. Good evening.
Thank you.
And we'll now turn the meeting back to our secretary treasurer, so we can carry on with other business.
I'll be right back.
Thank you.